vote on or do, but I'm not sure what the board has authority besides the local election official, but Bob, you had, furnished us with documents from the State Board of Elections, I believe.
Well, I haven't furnished, I just did the research on this to figure out what was going on.
Okay.
with all of this. And I guess to start off, this is a unique thing for this board. The history, I mean, you guys have been on the board much longer than I. The history has always been that, people come on the board either through an election or by appointment. And in most cases, there's never been a contest. You've had enough people to fill the seats. It's never to a situation where there have been more people running for a seat than seats are available. In this case, we have like, I think, 5 or 6 running for 3 seats. And that pretty much basically.
Well, here, it's in the packet is in here, there's a 2-year, 2 people.
Yeah.
And then there's the 4-year, 5 people for 3 seats.
Yeah, but
2 for 1.
I'm correct that this is a unique situation.
Oh, yeah, this has, we've not, my tenure have ever had, in fact, sometimes we've not even had enough people.
Right, right.
Right.
So, what I'd like to do is kind of go through what has happened, and there is no intent here to cast aspersions on anybody. There's things that happen that the election code is 587 pages long. It's complicated, it's convoluted, and it takes some time to go through it and understand what's going on here. So if you bear with me, I'll kind of walk through this, and if you want to stop me and ask a question, do so.
Can I ask what the aim is? Is it just informing us, or what's the aim of what you're about to read?
Inform and provide a possible solution to the situation. Right now.
A solution?
To a solution, yeah.
Wasn't aware.
You'll understand what the issue is as I go through this.
Okay.
Okay.
Are the notes just pulled directly from, or like your interpretation?
What I'm going to outline here comes directly from the
Okay, yeah,
statute.
that's what I was
okay?
asking.
And also there's a handbook that was provided to the local election person, and for us it's Norm. And all of this information comes from that, or from conversations I've had with various boards, the state board and the local Winnebago County Board of Elections. Okay, there's a couple of important dates. November 12th is the first day that candidate petitions are to be filed, and that was last Tuesday. Okay, they were filed with the library here. November 18th is the last day to file petitions for the election. So it's between the 12th and the 18th, the petitions have to be filed. Okay, the Talcott Library was in fact, the lottery was in fact held at 10 a.m. on November 10th. The earliest date.
No, it was the 14th.
Oh,
2 days, it was Thursday, last Thursday.
oh yeah,
The 14th.
4 days before the earliest date of November 19th. Now, according to the statutes, the earliest date you can file or do a lottery is 9 days after the close of petitions. So it would have been 9 days after November 18th. Today's the 18th. So the lottery would have to have been held between now and the 18th. Okay.
No, today's the 18th, I believe.
Yeah, between now, today's the 18th.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
it has to be within 9 days of today's date.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Okay, but in fact, the lottery was held on November 10th.
No,
No,
14th.
14th, I'm sorry, 14th.
Yeah.
It was 4 days before the date of the 19th or the 18th, okay? In addition, notice of the lottery time and date, November 14th, was given to the candidates as they handed in their petitions on November 12th.
Correct.
Petitions were handed in on November 12th, and notice was given to them at that time of the lottery to be held 2 days later. Okay? The regulations mandate or say that there must be a 7-day written notice given as to the date of the lottery. A 2-day notice was actually given. Therefore, the earliest date of the lottery should have been November 19th, which would be tomorrow. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion over what dates certain things would have been done. But right now, the lottery should not have been held. The lottery, at the last date of the collection of petitions, which was today, people could have come in during the last hour and handed in petitions. They would have, if it's in the last hour, those people would have to go through a lottery also in order to determine the last position on the ballot between those people. Okay. Normally, all of those would have been done in one lottery. Okay? Any questions there?
Yeah. Why would they be competing for the end of the list on the last day? That's what you're telling me? So the only days that matter in terms of a lottery are the first day of submission and the last day?
Yes.
And I
So
can't-
whatever happens in the middle, those people do not participate in the lottery?
No, they go in the order of submission,
That's why
the
when
order they come in.
Megan did a very good job in instructing the staff that
Yeah.
if somebody came in, the law requires you to put the date and the
It's
hour.
a time, yeah.
Yeah, and so then you go in order. It's only the people who were here at 9 o'clock, when it opens up, so that people don't have to camp out.
Sure.
So that whoever is here, when the doors open, go in the lottery.
And then if you're last, if you
And,
go in
yeah,
on the
for
last
some
day,
reason,
you're
I don't
just
know why that's
penalized
in there.
on being last.
I guess.
I don't know why
I don't know why
for
they
the
do
final
that.
hour,
Sure.
but.
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
way-
just asking for
that's
clarification.
the
No,
way-
that's good, but
that's the
it's
way it
very
is.
strange.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Which is,
done.
you know,
Got it.
part of the problem with the selection code. It's
So
very
those are the first problems that we have. Lottery was not held at the proper time, and notice was not given at the proper time, okay? Now, the next thing has to do with the actual procedure of the lottery. Let's see. There's two key legal requirements. The lottery must be held in public, which it was not, and the method must be approved by the State Board of Elections. The method used for the Talcott lottery was a computer-based random number generator. I contacted the state election office in Springfield and was told that they have not received a request from Talcott, and which would have had to come from Lauren, to request or to approve such a procedure as that. Nor were they aware of any approval for this method in the past. And I talked to a person named Brooke at the Springfield office. Now, the way the legislation says that a lottery is held is you alphabetize in alphabetic order the candidates' names, by their last name.
Don Gattis.
Okay, hold on a minute, I gotta shut this off. And then you have the number.
Which I must say, we did that.
We did.
So that
We did
complied with that
No
part of
problem,
the statute.
No problem there. So they were listed in alphabetical order, and then starting with the first one, each one is given a number sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so everyone's covered. Then those numbers are put on cards, thrown into a container, mixed up, and then they're drawn out by hand. Okay?
Like it's 1925.
Yes.
All I'm saying, this is,
Yeah, that's fine.
they're trying to
That's
make
fine.
it
I'm
simple,
just
and this
wanted to
is
make
the
a
way the law is.
Did you get additional documentation from that phone call to follow up so that there's written, just clarification?
I can give you the copy of the
No, I
election
just,
handbook. And I
I
can
was
give
just
you,
asking because you said that you talked to somebody, just so that she
there's no
was.
documentation. She
Yeah.
referred me to the statutes. though.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
and the
all I'm
statutes are
asking.
very clear how it's supposed to be done,
I'm
okay?
not trying to be argumentative, I
No,
was just asking a question.
I'm not saying you are. Okay, so those were two things that were done, counter to the statute. Okay, it wasn't held in public, and it wasn't held by an approved method. Okay. Any questions right there? Okay? Now, we have until January 23rd, I believe it is, 22nd, 23rd, for the certification of the ballot positions to be handed into the Winnebago County, election office,
Clerk,
the 23rd.
right. But I mean, the Winnebago County
Okay.
clerk is the
Yeah,
election
Winnebago County
official, yes.
clerk, right, okay. But the lottery, as I said earlier, has to be held within 9 days of the last filing date. Today's the last filing date. So within 9 days, you have to hold a lottery. You would have to hold a lottery, something that we've already done. And you have to give a 7 days notice in advance of that lottery. A public notice has to be issued, letting people know that there's, going to be a lottery. Now, there's two ways we can go. We can just go with the current outcome of the ballot position and submit it, but it's countered to, it would be fraudulent because it wasn't held according to the law. Or we can redo the lottery, and we just have enough time to do it, to comply with the legislation. Okay? So that's where we are right now. Now, the board really has nothing to do with this. And even if we did, we can't act on it tonight, because it's being introduced tonight. We would have to wait until the next board meeting or a special board meeting in order to act on it and direct Norm to take certain actions. But I don't think that's within our authority to direct. I mean, he's responsible for the election, clerk, and he doesn't report to the board for that purpose other than serving an office. So, the possible solution to go over is to set a new lottery date of November 27th. This would be in compliance with the requirement that the lottery be held within 9 days following the last day of petition submittals. Okay, so that would meet that first, requirement. Then, no later than November 20th, a public notice that the lottery for the library election ballot would have to be published, and saying that, the lottery would be set for a certain time on November 27th. That would comply with all the requirements that a 7-day notice be given. So that's where we are right now. Now, we can't act on anything, but we can have a discussion about what we wanna do. But right now, we're in a quandary. Now, if we went ahead and filed the papers as they are now, which were conducted, counter to the legal requirements, then at some point, somebody could, and you're the lawyer, Jerry, somebody could file suit against the library for filing fraudulent papers, and I don't think we want something like that. So, open for discussion.
Well, I want to just say two things. Excuse me. First of all, I think Megan did a wonderful job. I don't think there was any,
No.
ill intent or anything like that. I have trouble reading the thing, and, you know, I've dealt with elections on and off for quite a long period of time. And so, you know, that's the first thing. And the other thing is, until this morning, Warren had no idea that he was the local election official for a library district. So that really puts him in a bad situation, but it's right at in the first, at the beginning of the election code, it says, local election official means the clerk or secretary of a unit of local government, as the case, or school district, as the case may be. So, that's our local election official.
Right.
And I think Bob is correct, I thought the board may have some ability to do something, but I don't think the board has the authority to direct the local election official to do anything.
Right.
And I mentioned to Lauren, I didn't wanna put him in a situation that he felt uncomfortable, but he actually stepped up and said, no, that he wants to do the right thing for the library district.
Right. And this begs for a policy to be developed that lays that out and then refers to the statutes on how a statute is supposed to be run. But it lays out and specifies specifically that one of his duties is relative to the election.
So should we expect that coming from you?
Well,
As a policy?
I can do it, or somebody else can write it. I'll gladly propose it, it's gonna be a proposal, so I can do that.
I can reach out to other library districts as well.
Okay. And then, just to make everything proper, then the authority to actually conduct the lottery and conduct the collection of the petitions then would be delegated to Megan. And that was actually done, just, it happened because.
That's the way it always
took care of it,
was.
And that's the way it always was. But we need to formalize it, we should have a delegation, note from Norm, delegating the authority to run the thing or not Norm specifically, but the secretary of the board to delegate that authority. And then it's clear exactly what goes on, rather than all of a sudden we're sitting here as a board and wondering, what's this all about? And we're getting these emails from all over, you know, and some of them, like us, had no idea what the specific procedures were for conducting this lottery.
Bob, do you think that delegation needs to happen every time there's an election?
I think it can be a policy, and then he delegates it to the secretary delegates authority to the director to conduct the election, and if anything changes in the interim, then he changes it, but foregoing, I don't think it has to be done for every election. It's up to us how we want to do
I
it.
don't see why that's a bad idea though, like during the board meeting,
Yeah.
just to say it, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
just
fine.
to-
Or it would be better just, we'll have a standard form
Yeah.
that he just signs and dates
Yeah.
for each
Yeah.
election,
Just so
cause
then
they're only
there's
every 2
nothing-
years.
And then
There's
it's-
nothing that an email that comes out that makes it seem like there was any malicious intent.
Oh, no.
There was not.
And as I said, I'm not, no intent to cast aspersions on anybody, but, I mean, there's enough finger pointing to go around if we wanted to do that, but there's no need to do it. I mean, I'm as much as at fault as anybody, I didn't know half of this stuff until I spent the last 2 days going to the statutes and actually reading the specifics of it.
And one of the things that's unusual about this election code, which you usually don't find, is that, so Lauren's the election official, but he's also one of the candidates. So he's gonna be drawing the names.
As are you.
Well, I
So-
mean, but I'm not the election official,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying,
But
most,
if he delegates, then.
well, no, but I mean,
Because he has
that's
to
all right.
delegate.
That is, yeah, but if he delegates it to Megan, of course, yeah. But most laws in
Yeah.
that case, like there's a, electoral board, if somebody challenges your petitions, and it's certain people, like the state's attorney, for the village, it's the mayor and so on. Well, but if the mayor's being challenged, then it provides that the mayor will then appoint someone, or the city council will appoint someone, or that, there is no such thing. So,
That might need to be part of our policy then,
well,
like, that we develop, that.
as
in-
long as
in
we
the event
delegate,
that the-
as long as we delegate it like that, yes. we can put that in the policy and then make sure that there's a written thing. But I'm very shocked that the statute doesn't address that.
Yeah.
That the person who's supervising this is somebody who's a candidate.
The challenge here is, we're a district, so we are the highest authority for this district library. For all the other things that are running, you know, the school board, et cetera, the, election authority is down at the county clerk's office.
Correct.
They handle it, and it's second nature to them.
Yes.
They're doing it, I mean, they just got done with one, and now they're doing another election in April. We do this is the first time we've ever had to deal with this.
Correct.
So, the solution I'm offering here, and, Megan, or I can help, you know, and put together the direction, what Megan should do as far as notice and running the lottery and stuff like that. That should solve the problem. But we have just a certain amount of time to do it. We actually have probably, notice would have to go out tomorrow or the following day, that there's gonna be a lottery.
How would we disseminate this notice? I mean, is it just,
It has to
does it
be-
say that it's social media or
Every
posted in
candidate
the
has to
window?
have it,
Posted at the library
and posted in a conspicuous place
Okay.
in the library.
and then given to the people who are involved.
Each
Yeah.
candidate would have to be, given a copy of that notice.
And to address your point, Amy, it's a very good point, it's been raised for decades, that the law is archaic. Just like our ordinance, we have to publish in a newspaper that hardly anybody reads anymore. But for some reason, the legislature will not change those to modernize it. We do
I thought it
things.
said in here, like, unless, like, he could ask for
Yes.
it to be electronic.
You could.
You could
Yeah.
ask, you could.
But I mean, like, going forward, we could do that just
You
because
could
we
go
don't have
forward.
enough time.
Yeah.
And this, you could describe the method, and yield to them on how you'd like to run it, and then they would come back and let you know whether you.
Well, they'll give you in some document or opinion
Right.
that says this is sanctioned.
Well, they have to actually approve it.
Well, yeah, the state board of elections has to approve it, and you'll get some physical document, so that you'll have that.
The thing.
Cause
the
I think
thing
an electronic method would be good if in the future we ever have another event like COVID. Then it's still broadcast to the public on Zoom if people can't be there because of disability or illness or whatever, they're still able to see it. And then it could be screen shared live, there's no manipulation with that.
The thing I think the board would be concerned about, just generally, is having a mishmash of different methods. You know, different governing bodies come up with 10 or 50 different ways of conducting a lottery, and then all of a sudden, the more you put out there, the more chance there is for, objections and conflicts and errors and stuff like that, so.
Well, I think one of the things we can do is, as Megan offered, to come up with a policy to like reference what other libraries have done with regards to that policy, that she could also find other libraries that have been in this scenario
Yeah.
and what their method for the lottery is. That doesn't mean we have to choose that, but that would give us some information on how other
Well,
libraries in
only,
this scenario.
according to, the Springfield office, is this method that I described is the only approved method that they know. They never heard of other methods, but, you know, there may well be, you know.
Yeah.
For this, Brooke that I talked to, she's going to do some more research on this and get back to me on if there are other methods that have been approved.
Sure.
Because they outlined the method, and they said this has been approved by the state board.
When she gets back to you, can you ask her for an email so that we
Confirm
could
it,
send
sure.
it to the board, just so that we
Sure.
all have the same documentation?
Yeah. I can ask, but if she says, you know, some of them don't wanna put stuff down on paper.
No, but I mean,
so-
like, if
I
they
can ask.
send the
I just-
request, yeah.
I similarly spoke to someone at the Illinois Board of Elections, it was a man, I didn't catch what his name was, I think it was Alex. And he basically said the opposite of what you're saying, so
Yeah.
that's why I feel confused about
Yeah.
her saying that and, you know, making these statements. when I spoke to someone who made opposite
Yeah.
statements.
Yeah, I
So
guess
then
that's
it's
why.
like hard,
That's a
hard to
problem.
say
Yeah.
what,
Which one is correct?
Yeah, that's
And
why
nobody will put it in
documentation
writing.
is important.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
The-
that is
The
probably.
three different people I spoke to at three different offices were all like, it seems satisfactory to me that I can't make an official position,
Yeah.
so.
What
But
was
the
the
only-
three, the county
I
clerk,
spoke with the Winnebago County Elections
elections
Office,
people,
the
state board?
Illinois State Elections Board, and the state's attorney of Winnebago County's office.
Who did you talk to?
I didn't get a
Oh,
name.
But
from
nobody
that
would
one.
give you written.
I mean, and then they directed me to our civil attorney, that's who I should contact, and so I have contacted them via email, and, her name just fell right out of my head, the woman I usually. Julie, thank you. She said it's not her purview, cause Ansel Blink is a giant, you
Yeah.
know, firm,
Yeah.
so she forwarded my email to their elections lawyers,
People.
Yeah.
and they just haven't gotten back to me
Yeah.
yet, so I was waiting to see what they had to say, because basically everyone that I spoke to shuffled me down the line to speak to someone else, and wouldn't say anything officially,
No, they,
in any way.
yeah,
So-
that's true.
So, I mean, we can't direct the Rowan to do it, but I've offered a solution, and, we have a short time for them to do it, so I guess the decision has to be made up, has to be made by Lauren, whether or not to accept that solution on his own, and direct Megan to put together, the steps to do the lottery according to what I had laid out.
I think you should just take the day to, or the evening, and then email us all in the morning, just so that you have time to digest all of this information.
Okay, so something would have to be sent out tomorrow or the following day, at the latest.
Right, yeah, but I mean, like, there's a lot to take in.
And really, that, it was a 2-line or a 1-line document that said the lottery's gonna be held on this date at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's not a big document
No.
to compose.
Well,
Right.
the document itself is 73 pages, so I mean, the document itself is a beef to sit down and read.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
but
there's-
I meant what
There's just a
Megan-
couple
The
of
notice.
them.
What
Oh, yeah.
Megan sent out, or
Oh,
handed
okay.
to the candidates, was just, you know, large type about that. And
Oh,
that's
okay,
all
you're
we-
talking about
That's
the-
all we have to post, is that when it's gonna be, yeah,
Or
right,
the secretary
If-
decides.
if our election official so decides, correct.
This was a copy of the letter that was actually put out, that Megan put out,
Oh, yeah,
advising.
right.
Question, is that in the secretary's, or,
Duties?
yeah, duties, is that written in his duties, that he's the official?
I don't think so,
So we need to update that.
but that should be updated,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not written in our
Well,
paper, but it's written by the.
And I
It
can,
should be in there.
I can tell you, I was the secretary for a while, I didn't know it, we may have had an election and I didn't do anything.
But back then, there was, like you
That one
said,
was
no,
fragile.
4
yeah.
seats open, we only had 3 running.
Right, yeah, back in those days, right, so, anyway, okay, any questions or further comments? All right, so, any other business to come before us?
Okay, well, clarify.
Yes.
So Lauren's gonna take a night, to think about it and get to us in the morning.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
I just wanna make sure.
yeah, because the thing is, I thought, you know, my first thought was, well, the board could do something, but then upon further thinking that it's not us, we have no authority over the election official. So, we could just have a discussion about it,
There's 2 options, there's only 2 options.
yeah. Any other new business anyone wish to bring up? Then just one motion.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, Amy moves,
I'll second.
Terry seconds, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? We are adjourned.